when we last left our heroes, I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief description of who you see standing in the middle of the square, not moving away from you. It's a tall female figure with a large plague doctor mask adorned on her face. This is the traditional, very large bird mask. She wears a large brown trench coat with many vials strapped to a belt at her waist. A large wooden staff is in her hand, the head of which has been intricately carved with a twisting maze of wooden glass. And then there are 2 large ravens perched on her, one on her shoulder and the other on top of her staff. And she is waving you over.
Very hesitantly go over.
Yeah.
Do the ravens look familiar?
Yes, one of them is the one with the blue scarf that you were making quite the friends with. I wish I could recall what you had decided to name him.
I can't remember either. It was either something stupid, like Squee, or it was just Bluey.
I'm good with Bluey if you want to go that. It's Bluey and Bingo. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Bluey, Bingo, Bandit, and whatever the mom's name is.
Really? It's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Bridget. Another B name.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yep, she's waving you guys over. You are currently at the entrance of the village. She's standing more towards the center square. As you guys approach, you can kind of hear her voice through the muffling of the mask. Oh yes, you 3 must be the ones that Scrambled Claw sent, yeah?
That's us.
Yes.
Excellent. Good. My birds didn't lead you astray then.
Do from you.
Yeah. It's kind of... She's gonna wave at her appearance. Kind of my whole shtick.
Did you make one of them throw a rock at me?
No, that was probably Timothy. He likes to be sassy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can you explain what's going on? Maybe how we can help.
Yeah, of course. First things first, I need your help moving some dead bodies. And she's just going to immediately from that turn and start heading towards a building in the center square.
Slow look at the other 2. I think I can use my telekinesis, so I don't need to touch dead bodies. I think that's probably better.
All right.
I feel like we shouldn't be touching these dead bodies, but like if it's a plague situation, we'll see.
Well, if this place has any good setup, they'll have mushrooms to help us, and Gatasha will kind of doop up to them and will start pretty much pestering them to see if they have a good mausoleum. And if they don't, why don't they? They're so easy to make. You just need to find a cave. And if it doesn't exist, then why isn't it done yet? And it doesn't seem boggy enough, but maybe if there were some really good mushrooms, they could transplant them, and mushrooms do really good things for bodies. And do they need to make up a watch to make sure the bodies don't come back up? And do they need to do any sort of, and just kind of like the big,
Lena will
much
actually,
like a 4-year-old asking
Yeah.
why the sky is blue.
Lena will turn to you through this, and you can kind of tell she's a little awkward to this of, yeah, so we can't, we'll go over everything of why the bodies can't stay intact. We need to burn them. There can't be anything left of the bodies, sadly, with this disease. And my camera's falling. We need to put I've got 5 dead. We need to put them on the funeral pyre and light them.
Okay.
The sad fact. Oh, and here, as she gets into the building, if the other 2 were following, you're gonna see there's a rather large bag of holding that she is now rummaging through, and she tosses each of you a pair of black leather gloves. Put these on. You really don't want to touch them. Any all squeamish? I would really hope they wouldn't send anyone squeamish with what's going on. I mean, I sent letters, but who knows?
We didn't have the most succinct brief. On the level of squeamishness, I'd say like I'm an average squeamishness. I think like I'm normal. I'm normal squeamish.
Maybe.
It's okay. I've got my construct to help as well, who is not squeamish.
I just don't want you to puke in your mask, buddy.
I hope I won't.
Yeah. So they didn't. She's gonna pause, pull out a stopwatch, sort of pocket watch sort of thing, and look. We got time. We'll pause here for a minute. You can see that she's erected a curtain kind of over the rest of the room, and you can't quite see through. I'm gonna be frank with you guys. Were they able to explain anything about the infection here?
Only
They
that
said
it's
we need masks.
yeah, it's because it's in the air.
Okay. It's a pretty extreme infection. You probably saw some things decayed on the road. The plants, I mean, you've seen it. There's a couple things that aren't dying. One thing you might have noticed is that my little bird friends here don't need any masks. It does not appear to affect anything avian. Doesn't affect fungus, it doesn't affect flowering plants, and it doesn't affect ferns. However, just about everything else is infected. Without treatment, it takes a matter of days for some things to die and putrefy. I am working with, I've got about 50 left of 150 from this town.
It's not good.
Yeah, so we gotta work quick and we gotta work well because there's a lot going on here, and it's been a doozy on my own, so I'm very happy and grateful to have some help here. I'm rather sick of it. Yeah, that's dark. Anyways.
Alright.
So, the bodies we're moving are partially putrefied by this point because it happens within hours.
Alright.
So, just be aware of that. We're going to be moving them to the funeral pyre that's just right outside. I wasn't able to really do much because I've been out here on my own. But we need to do this quickly because we've got probably an hour and a half before stage 4 starts happening. We'll get into that later, don't worry. But first, let's start moving some bodies.
All right.
She's going to move the curtain. Do you follow her in?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
What size are the gloves?
They are magic gloves.
Magic.
They will fit over your hands. Don't worry. You can see there's a natural enchantment kind of engraved into the leather, and they expand as you start pulling them over your hands.
Okay.
Lena's always prepared. Right. As you follow her in, you can see the 50 patients that she said she still had alive laying in various cots, and most of which are actually just on the floor with ratty blankets thrown over them. Several of them you can see that she has been pressing down wet towels on their foreheads, and you can see on the majority of them, you can see, if you look close at any of them, small blue splotches in their skin. Most are seemingly asleep, but not well. You can see a few thrashing. In the far corner, there are 5 that are moved away from the group, and you can see them kind of curled in on themselves. You can see a couple of buckets around them as you can hear them groaning and moaning in there. And then off to farther away in the far corner of the room, away from those there, are what you assume to be the dead bodies. If the smell that is slowly seeping through, even with the protection of the masks.
How many are we talking?
5 dead bodies.
Okay. Do we have a wagon or a sled or a tarp that we can load them all on and I can pull them?
Yeah, you can see that there does seem to be a tarp that Lena is pulling out of a corner and is slowly beginning to unfold it next to the pile of bodies.
Okay. Yeah. If we get them loaded onto the tarp, then me and Hercules can probably pull all of them at once.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Is anybody feeling squeamish? Can I get some con saves real quick?
Don't make me con save.
Constitution. Oh, hang on. You said a save?
Yes.
That was a check. Get a better one.
Joe's
go.
doing. Oh wow. Okay. Well, let's get Mako. Can you beat the 20 with everyone else? Oh, 16. That works too.
Wait,
Oh wait, is that from last time? That's from
that's
last
from
time.
last time. Con.
Save.
Come on, 20,
Why is it
20,
not?
20.
It's not letting.
Is yours still not letting you roll?
Beyond 20, please stop being this. Okay, I need to update my Beyond 20 or something.
Which one? The Roll20 or the D&D Beyond or both?
The D&D Beyond. I'm gonna hold up. Options. I'm gonna turn Beyond 20 off for now, and I'll just try and roll it within D&D Beyond. There we go. All right, 23.
Oh, everybody's fine. It is gross though. As you're moving the bodies, they are not necessarily fully staying together. Does anyone take any closer looks at the bodies as you're moving them, or are you just trying to look away and move these things as fast as possible?
I'm probably trying to observe it as I'm doing it, but I'm not actively looking away. I'm kind of just putting my mind to the work.
Yeah, I think I want to look at them as a player, but as a character, I don't think Joe would be doing any looking. I think the only reason he got that 20 is because he's looking like straight up in the sky, or trying to use as much telekinesis as possible to not touch them.
Kitasha, how are you feeling with your whole background when it comes to disease of bodies? And
Well, let me
your
get
orcish
my thing
culture?
re-pulled back up here. Hang on. Get my orc culture back up here. Dead. I think with what Lena has been saying, Kitasha would probably be monitoring the bodies just because her culture has such a high regard for hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
and cleansing of the body to make sure nothing spreads. I think Kitasha would be monitoring them just to make sure that if they are in sealed body bags, which they should be if they're liquefying, um,
Yeah,
that
Lena
it
doesn't
is
have
actually
everything.
sealed. Yeah.
Lena does not have everything. Lena did not know that she was going to be dealing with putrefying corpses, at least not at this rate.
Hmm.
So they are kind of just in bedrolls. So you can kind of shimmy the bedroll onto there and kind of keep it contained. But hold on. Yeah, but it's still gross. It's not fully contained, but it's about as much as you could expect with someone who just came here thinking, "Oh, there's just some illness that broke out. Let me go check out, make sure everything's okay." But if Kitasha is going to go ahead and take a look at what you can see of the bodies, yeah, they're dissolving in on themselves. You can see that what once was a human for one of them is now a bluish purple mess. Just goopifying as you're trying to move it. You can see some of the bones are still intact, but they're also turning an odd shade of almost somewhere between a purple and a green. You've never seen bones turn that color before. But
Hmm.
as you pile the bodies up and you start to move it back out, you've got 4 people and a dog working on it. You're able to move the bodies without too much strain. And it seems like Lena is relaxing as you're moving this. She had seemed to tense up a little bit when it had taken a little bit longer to start moving the bodies. But she's able to direct you to a pile of somewhat decaying firewood that has been built up, and you can see smoke rings along the ground where this has clearly been burnt, broken down, rebuilt, burnt, broken down.
I think Joe will probably just be like on task. He's got questions and thoughts, but right now it's just get this over with so that we can move away from this place.
Yeah. So you get the bodies up onto the funeral pyre. Lena will make sure everything is within the fire pits area. And you watch as she takes out a flask from her belt and begins pouring it along the wood and over the bodies before moving her gloves and doing a snap as you see that there is flint along her gloves as it sparks and lights it.
Mhm.
The
As
fire. Oh, go ahead.
as Lena is doing this, Kitasha is going to begin keening, because it seems like they degraded and died too quickly to be mourned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she is going to keen uh, as a way of kind of making sure that they aren't vengeful if they were to come back, to show that they were remembered.
I think Lena looks back at you and does kind of a nod, understanding, and you can't tell because you can't quite see any of her face,
Hmm.
but you get the sense that she feels some relief and gratefulness to that. And as the fire sparks, along the bottom of the wood, it seems to start as a normal flame, and as soon as it reaches the bodies, it turns from a normal red-orange flame to a bright, vibrant purple. As the bodies burn, the flames continue to burn bright purple and grow as it reaches taller and taller. Far taller than what the bodies would normally, you would think, produce if the flame. And the smoke is not gray, but it is instead a bright, bright blue that floats up into the sky.
Not to put a damper on this terrible situation, but do you think that the airborne pollution or the plague could have anything to do with burning these bodies?
No, it started before, and to be frank with you, what happens if we don't burn the bodies is far worse.
Okay.
It seems to be the only thing to stop it from progressing, other than the potions I've been managing to make, which at least slowed down the infection.
All right. I just want you all to know that if one of the bodies starts standing up again, I will be noping. I will be gone.
That's why we're burning them.
Is that a thing that they can? Oh dear. Right.
I would suggest if you saw any animal corpses near the edge of the village, I would burn those too. I've been trying to make sure to keep an eye out, but I can't be everywhere at once.
Noted.
Animals are much worse than the humans and other sentient beings.
It's a really good thing I just switched to gun.
Slowly, the
Sorry,
fire.
Dave.
Oh,
Also, no, I thought David was saying something, but
No.
okay, no worries.
as the fire slowly burns down to embers and the bodies have been purely molted to ash. Lena will stand up, kind of stretch herself out. Okay, now that the most pressing part is done, shall we get to why I called for you all?
Please.
Appreciate it.
All right, sounds good. Let's go back inside just in case anybody needs another dosage. She'll lead you guys back into the large main building. And you won't go past the curtain again, but it is left open just so that you can keep an ear out. As she sits down in kind of her own sort of little room, I guess would be the best way to put it. She's got her own bedroll rolled out there. She sits on it, kind of nods around to the ground around her. Onset is, it might be a little bit.
Okay.
So, just to be 100% honest, no one has taken off their masks since they got here, correct?
Yeah.
Not yet, although I really, really want to.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a tempting fate thing. It's just a claustrophobia. Yeah.
You'll get used to it. I am able to make small. So, you might have noticed that the birds, if you asked them for anything, they probably tried to make some small warding circles for y'all. I can make a small bubble of purified air around us. But it doesn't last very long, and I resort to using that only for when we need to eat. Otherwise, I can only do it a few times a day before it drains me too much.
So we're essentially fully reliant on these masks.
Yes. These are the only things keeping us from decaying.
Hmm.
But if we're able to find out what's causing this and get it to stop, because this is not a natural occurring thing. I've studied illness, that is my specialty. Yeah, this is not something that normally occurs. So, yeah, where to start? We got a call out for this village, maybe a month back. And it was just starting with a couple cases of intensive fevers and such, so I rode out here to try and see what was going down, and pretty soon the whole village was sick. I had brought my own. These masks are of my design. They're kind of just I don't enjoy getting sick, to be honest. I'd rather take my chances, especially since I tend to focus on this area. The sky turned green probably 3 days into my arrival here. And it's not changed back.
Do you happen to have any ideas then in terms of how this came to be? Do you think that is because of the sky or because some infection that's passed around?
So, it's been tough for me to really get any information here that is not strictly on how this illness is affecting creatures. Simply because I can't leave these people. They need to be taken care of, or else they will all die. If it was not for me, they would all have already died. So, the closest thing I've gotten is my ravens and crows have circled the area and have brought me back the information. So, pulling out a map, she'll lay it out on the ground in front of you three. Here is the village. And it is within this 20-mile radius of infection. We're not the center of it. We're just little ways off. But it stops within this circle. Outside of it is fine. But as soon as you get inside this circle, things begin to decay.
Has the radius changed since you've been here?
Not to my knowledge. The only thing that's changed is how decayed everything is.
So if this village is not the center of it, have you been able to find what is? Or at least where that place is?
Again, there's only so much my, crows can do. I mean, they're flying around for an air view, but they can't get close because, again, I can't burn everything that's died here. So if they get too close, something might grab them. I can kind of say this area of woods, and she'll circle a spot that is to the north of the village. This spot here seems to be somewhere approximately the middle, but if it is something that is causing this to spill out, I don't know. There's been a lot of strange happenings. There's things we shouldn't mess with here. And to be honest, as soon as we can get this infection cleared, we need to get these people away from here. I don't know if the creatures that are now here will dissipate or die or return to where they've come from when they came. But I'm not willing to take chances. I don't even know if removing whatever is causing this will immediately cure them or not. What I can say... Oh, go ahead.
Okay, it sounds like what you need is answers more than anything else, right? You're somewhat handling the interpersonal, and you're somewhat handling the decay as best you can. But you need some facts.
I need facts and I need supplies from you, actually. I need you to harvest some stuff for me.
Should be doable.
Because there's a flower that grows. Just east of here is the coastline where there's drop off. And on that drop off, there are these flowers that I call them moon water flowers. Moon water lilies, to be specific. And they are the only thing so far that I can mix into my potions that slows down this decay.
Water.
So I'm running low, but I can't necessarily leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to need at some point here soon, I'm going to need you three to go gather some.
That should be fine. We could probably make that a priority.
The only other thing is you can't leave at night.
Okay.
So we've probably run out of time for today. We'll stay in here. But tomorrow morning, if I can send you out, and you can gather those and return, that would at least be able to hopefully get me enough to get these people through you guys investigating up into the middle segment.
And the reason we can't go out at night is just because, dark vision's not that common, right?
No.
Joe, you can't see in the dark?
I actually can't remember. Let me check. I'm not sure that's him forgetting or me forgetting.
I'm pretty sure you can. I think Mako's the one who can't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. I can see in dim light, and just about in darkness. Yeah, it's like it's not fantastic. It's not as good as like a dwarven dark vision, but yeah.
There's two reasons you can't. For one, these lenses are not great at seeing through the dark. The second, I might be able to show you tonight if it shows up.
Maybe I don't want to know.
You might not. I think, how much interaction have you ever had with Faye?
Not very much. I've just heard stories, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, all we've done is we messed around with wax. Was that Faye?
Logically, it makes sense that it would be, because it was hostile and scary.
You can't
Other than
see
that-
any expression on Lena's face due to the mask. But she's
At least
just
that's
watching.
That's what I've been told, but I haven't had any interaction myself.
the thing you guys interacted with was Faye. That item.
Oh, with the candelabra?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The wax thing.
Oh, there you go.
But okay. Yeah, let's that's the best way to put this. The veil's very thin in this area.
So it's
There's been quite a few accidental steps from one plane to another. I think on both sides.
think this has anything to do with that.
Very possibly. According to the note I got from Kiza, you guys had a Fey artifact that you guys encountered a little while back. If that's the case, and the amount of damage that was able to do within a radius, it's very likely that this could also be that sort of situation. Just honestly, because I keep seeing fey creatures that don't necessarily want to be on this plane.
All right.
Okay. So we might have to try and send something home as well.
Maybe, but that's more of my reason for wanting us to hightail it out of here with as many survivors as possible. I'd rather not. I'd rather not talk to the big man I've been seeing at night. If it's all the same with you.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's just a big soft.
Yes. I'll if he comes through, he's looking for something. I'll show you tonight if he comes. But I need you three to make a promise to me if I show you this creature.
I guess.
You will not interact with it. You will not approach it. You will not make yourselves known.
Can I ask why?
It will kill us all.
Okay.
Okay, with that settled, yeah. But anyway, I've got notes here on the disease and the stages. Do you guys want to read that over, or would you rather, me read them to you, or do you have just specific questions?
I guess if you could give us a bit of an overview just so we understand, for our sake and for the people around us, what we should be aware of, what things to avoid, obviously besides taking our mask off, and any other concerns while we're here, If is fire helpful or not, besides the burning? Just in general, is fire helpful in this situation?
Okay. Well, let's go over symptoms in case there is anything that starts happening if you get a puncture in your mask, anything like that. So, let's see, and she's going to pull out a notebook that you can see the decay is starting to get to. As you can see, the edges of it are beginning to mildew. She turns a couple pages. All right. I've documented 4 stages for this. First stage, usually patient will experience a high fever, collapsing due to the fatigue. You're going to be looking for blue splotches of atopic dermatitis forming on your skin. It's going to be very irritable, very, very unpleasant. Blue is going to be kind of like a navy blue. I'm not sure. I never got your guys' names. I am so sorry. Bunny Gal, you might have a harder time with the fur.
Fair.
What's your name? I'm sorry.
Miko Kiyako.
Mako, alrighty. Big Gal, your name?
Oh, hi. I'm Kitasha, and Kitasha will hold out her goopy leather glove in
Lena,
hand to
Lena,
shake.
gloopy gloved hand shakes back.
There is a satisfying squelch, as it should be.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and Stony Fella.
I'm Joe Topaz.
Alrighty. And the doggo?
Hercules.
Alrighty.
He's with me, and he won't be affected because he doesn't have lungs, or he can't be affected by disease.
That's true, but this thing is also causing just materials to decay.
All right,
Metals
I'll
rusting,
keep an eye on that.
so yeah, it's best to keep an eye on him.
This is a general question. Doesn't the spell mending, does that... Let me read it, because I'm wondering if that will help if I just mending on Hercules periodically. Single break.
Yeah, it's for mundane items. It won't fix magical properties.
Right. Yeah. Because I know mending specifically interacts with the pet to restore hit points. So I suppose if his hit points start going down, I can start spam casting mending. But yeah, it doesn't look like it fixes like rust. So that would probably need to be like a restoration spell.
Don't worry too much. That's more if you all get stuck out here for too long. It shouldn't be. Hopefully, we can get this done with swiftly, so I don't lose anyone else here.
Has the plague shown effects on insect-like creatures?
Nothing really, actually. Sorry, that's the one I should have added onto my list. She's gonna take out her pen and scribble that in under the top. Yeah, that's one of those things that doesn't seem to be super affected, along with the birds, fungus, flowering plants, and ferns. Just about everything else is dying, though. Oh yeah, stage 1 also tends to have night terrors and hallucinations.
Man,
so if you
Mako
start
will never see it coming.
You'll never see it coming. Yeah. Okay, going from there, stage 2. Most everyone here is currently in stage 1. My 5 patients that were in the far back, they're in stage 2 now. This is vomiting rather violently, periodically. The blue dermatitis continues to spread, and you begin, if you check the mouths of the patients, they will have turned blue internally. The eyes will begin to yellow, and the patient struggles to consume anything. And we get to our buddies we just burned. That was stage 3. They succumb to the disease. She's going to flip a page. Body begins to putrefy. During this stage, it's best to burn the body. That's what I found. Yep, the funeral pyre. We dealt with that. Stage 4, a corpse will reanimate and become hostile. Some of the more decayed corpses tend to merge together, forming larger and larger creatures. While sentient beings are my main experience, I've encountered a couple animals, and they seem to be even more dangerous and tend to be ravenous. They will eat anything living or dead, and they will do it ferociously. Yeah.
Noted.
That's the end of the notes I have, so yeah. Who's hungry?
We can't eat, right?
Oh, it's getting close to the end of the day. It might be good to, if you can stomach anything, I can put up the ward to make us a small purified area here where you could quickly take your mask off, so it only lasts 30 minutes.
I think getting some air is probably not a bad thing.
I think I can do that too for it's not quite as long. We also might not be able to hear each other, but it should be fine.
Well, if it comes down to it, we can use yours too.
And I suppose we can go and look for the flowers in the morning.
That would be best. Yeah, we'll see if our friend makes an appearance. I don't know how to explain the thing well without it sounding ridiculous, to be honest. I don't mean to be cryptic. She's saying this while setting up a couple things along the ground to create the purification warding.
Okay.
Uh,
I guess. Sorry. I guess we'll have to wait and see what's for ourselves. What's going on here?
As she places the last mark and she mutters something that you can't quite see and places her hand upon the ground. You see as the area around you begins to glow and what looks almost like a bubble wraps around you all. And takes a couple seconds, and then you watch as you get a thumbs up, and Lena reaches to start unbuckling the back of her mask.
I guess I'll follow suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katasha's going to make sure no one immediately asphyxiates and dies before taking off her mask.
No one seems to be dying. As you take off your mask, you're able to breathe in some nice, refreshing air. And as you look at Lena, you are greeted by a Kenku. A raven Kenku.
That checks out. So the bird mask literally just fits over the top perfectly.
She stretches out a little bit and pulls the bag of holding that she had with her. Begins rummaging through. Bread?
Yes, please.
She'll pass out a couple things that she's got in there.
Okay, I have a mechanical question.
Yes!
So Kenku do not have their own voices unless they steal one, correct?
Isn't it a mimicry of another voice?
They can mimic voices, but
yeah, in traditional Forgotten Realms, Kenku only have I don't know. Some versions of them have their own voice and they can just perfectly mimic stuff. Others are they can only mimic stuff. It's not 100% consistent, and I have never established.
In this one, she's mimicked someone else's voice, but they are not the same words. So Kenku adapt someone else's voice, but they're able to communicate their own thoughts. They're not just parroting something.
okay. So there's a chance that she may have stolen this person's voice to use as her own.
Potentially.
Okay. Good. Sinister undertones have been met.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Had you interacted with this village much before everything went wrong?
Just I usually work around the guild. Just travel out whenever there's any new illnesses, disease. I kind of document things, figure out what works, what doesn't. I've got a couple doctor buddies that will follow me around normally, but no one was able to come with me for this one. Didn't think anything of it. A small village getting an illness. I was kind of assuming when they said it was fevers that it. Honestly, I thought it was something I already saw before and was all ready to just help some people through some really bad colds. That
You happen to know if healing magic works at all?
well, healing potions didn't really do much. It maybe cured like a blotch of the dermatitis, but it didn't seem to. It seemed like it was working too fast. That even if the healing potions were going in, the damage of the decay was just matching up with it. But you could try. I've got some of the other ones that aren't as sick at the moment, and we could give it a shot. We got some good medical magic on you?
Just a little. It's nothing that would change. Yeah, it's just basics.
Yeah. I've almost run out of supplies in general. I've tried just about anything. Those flowers over there aren't native to this plane either. I wonder if that's why they work.
It's an interesting point. We will do our best to find those for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I don't assume it will go well, or please don't rely on us too much because we don't know what we're getting into either. We'll just do as much as we can.
Oh, you're spelling so much confidence, my man. That's great. What ranking are you guys anyway?
What ranking are we?
2-star? I think we're
3-star,
2-star,
I
right?
thought.
Or is the
Wait a
3-star?
One star?
We never got another star? I thought we got.
Oh, we gotta talk to these. We gotta talk to the people in our Ubers. We can't be being rated this poorly. Okay. From now on, guys, every single person we save, we need to say, by the way, please could you just send a good word into the guild? Maybe give us like 5. The company asks for us to always get 5 stars.
You seem to be struggling there, kids. You not quite sure what your standing is in the guild? At least tell me you got a star.
I know we have 1.
Star.
Okay. Well, they didn't just send me rookies, at least. Ugh. But, I mean, you'll probably do fine. You look sturdy enough. Ish. Alright. Yeah, as long as you don't, just keep getting distracted by Anna popping in and out of frame. As long as you don't, draw too much attention to yourself, you should be fine. I would just try your best to avoid things. And if you can't, some fire works really well if you got any of that.
Not as much as I'd like. Although, I may be able to swap out spells overnight, so I can't remember the rules.
I mean, would overnight be a long rest? Doesn't that technically?
Yeah, I think you can maybe swap out one spell on long rest. I actually can't remember the rules on that, especially for artificers.
Let me look it up.
Alright, thank you. Yeah, if I can get like a create bonfire instead of current spells.
If you're looking at it. Wait for you guys while you look that up. Just as a note, you watch as Lena looks at her little pocket watch again. Says, all right, mask back up. She begins strapping her own mask back on.
Okay.
And expects you 3 to follow suit.
Definitely will.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you can swap out all of your leveled spells on a long rest. However, your cantrips you can only swap out on a level up.
That's so random. Okay. I guess we did level up yesterday, but I also didn't know that we were getting into needing fire, so I suppose I wouldn't know that. I've got fairy fire, but I suppose that's not very helpful.
Yeah, it's not technically
That's
fire.
me.
I think if we all have adventuring kits, though, we have tinderbox or flint and steel.
The biggest thing would be I've got heat metal and a pile of bullets, so I'm sure I can make something work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you got your sorcerer who can just, use a bunch of electricity to probably cause some wood to catch on fire.
Yep. A sorcerer who
Mako
also
can-
has a trick up her sleeve, so
I'm fairly confident all of us also have a tinderbox.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And also, I feel like Mako can move so fast that the friction created from her weapon can probably set fire to things. From how fast you've killed some things in the past, just a blur.
It's like my poor spider killed within a turn. Unfair. He's just hungry.
It was the most ethical way to go about it.
It's true. All right. As you all finish putting your masks on, you watch as the bubble around you pops. And the light beneath fades away. And Lena begins picking up some of the items that she had along the edge. Okay. Well, she looks at the darkening sky. It doesn't get super dark anymore. But this is probably a good time if you want to go ahead and get yourselves set up for some sleep. I'll take watch for a little while, but we're usually safe in here. I'll wake you if our friend shows up. I don't know its name, but maybe that's for the best.
Alright.
Yeah, if you guys want to set up your bedrolls from all your supplies.
Yeah, I'll get Hercules to stand watch as well, near to all three of us, just to keep an eye on anything going wrong. And I said, tell him to wake any of us up if any of us are coughing loads or being weird in the night or anything.
Mm-hmm. Lena will excuse herself and explain that she's going to go take your horses into a side area that she has quarantined off so that they aren't just, waiting out in the open. And you three are left in the room as you can hear some coughing and groaning and quiet mumbling within the curtained area. Provided by Carmi. Good timing, Carmi.
If you don't mind, could we take a quick 5-minute break? I think she needs to go out.
All good?
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. Where we just left off was you three were left alone in the room.
The room where it happened.
I don't like this one bit. This is uncomfortable in 15 different ways.
It's just death.
It's not just death. It's also standing up after death and then haunting us. That's a pretty big one.
Well, yeah, it
There's
happens.
also standing up after death doesn't happen.
Yeah, it does.
Alright,
It doesn't
well,
happen often. It happens sometimes. Sometimes the mushrooms
Yes,
get a little greedy and they just kind of want to walk around a little. It's fine.
I mean, these ones don't just walk around though, from what she was saying.
Well, no, that's some bad mushrooms. That's a bad trip.
And also, we're dealing with fire being a necessity, which isn't fun for me.
That's right. You
And
do
we're
have
also
a lot
dealing-
of trauma around fire.
And my house was literally burned down less than a week ago. And also, it's just pretty gross and squidgy, to be honest.
Fair.
And also, we're having to wear these masks the whole time. It's not exactly pleasant.
I mean, I think I can get you a little 10-minute break. You won't be able to
It's
hear
fine.
anything.
I shot some lemongrass in there, it should be fine. but it's it's claustrophobic, and canonically we all sound like Darth Vader, so that's not great either.
Wrong. I sound like Bane.
What masked character does Mako sound like?
Wow.
My terrible Bane impression, which is just me working like this.
Oh, did you mean The Dark Knight Rises?
The Dork Knight.
Is it Dark?
The
Yeah.
Dork Knight.
The Dork Knight.
Yeah, that's right. I am New Dragon Rock's Reckoning.
Hello. We have been trying to reach you about your extended warranty through the Scrabbling Club.
You merely adopted the fungus. I was born in it.
Molded by
It
it.
works. Molded by it.
Squishy.
Num, 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 num. Yep.
Anyway, for Mask's character, for now, until further notice, I'm going to assume Mako sounds like Shredder.
Yeah, that works.
You're just giving up there.
I don't actually know that many masked characters.
Let's see.
Well, you watch
Scorpion?
Gundam, so there's like 50 in there.
Yeah, I guess Scorpion from Mortal Kombat would also be masked. There's there's another Batman villain. The
Mr. Freeze?
I guess Mr. Freeze technically wears a mask. He has like a fishbowl helmet thing that keeps him cold. No, it's Dead
Deadshot.
Deadeye.
Oh,
Deadshot. Yeah.
Deadshot. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's true.
And Deathstroke. It's a
Yeah.
lot, actually. Spider-Man. You can sound like Spider-Man. It's...
Mako's
All
just
the
turned
masked
into a young
vigilantes.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Well, anyway, I reckon let's try and get as much sleep as we can so we can deal with whatever we have to go through tomorrow.
Yeah. Lena will return, shut the door, move her bedroll a little bit closer to it, and sit against it, and wave on for you guys to go ahead and go to sleep.
Natasha will be a little upset about having to wear a mask to bed, but will be more upset that there's not another animal, because every trip she's slept with an animal so far. And there is no one here beside her.
If you want, Hercules can cuddle up to you. With his
that's
cold metal
different.
body.
That's different. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's very different.
Very spiky and
Hercules is
angular.
all elbows. There's like
Yeah, that was my bad. I shouldn't have built him with that many elbows.
the true horror. Hercules and his elbows.
It's like
I ran
Veshnier
out
with the "it's too many bones."
Too many bones.
I ran out of a lot of materials. As I'm falling asleep, Michaela, can I do either maybe like a nature or an arcana check, specifically just on how much of this is potentially from our plane and how much is like alien?
You could do either a nature or arcana check.
I'll do arcana because that's better for me. But yeah, I guess I'm specifically looking at what so that one for a total of 11. Yeah.
You don't know what this Kenku is talking about. Clearly, this is some new major disease that is sweeping the nation.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna be in masks, and it's just, it's the end of the world, my man.
Mm-hmm.
And with those
Oh, that's
thoughts,
nice.
you drift to sleep.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, roll me a wisdom save, and Joe gets disadvantage because of his nat one.
Let's go.
Yay.
Look at Mako. Look at that.
I did so good, guys.
That's a hot 2.
Oh, Joe. Oh, sweet, sweet, innocent Joe. So, Mako and Kitasha, you both sleep pretty well so far. No real dreams that are waking you in the night. Joe, you tried not to look at those bodies.
Mhm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you didn't. And you can see their smoldering faces as they burnt in your dreams, and they morph into people you know, putrefying and burning and screaming as you look upon the faces of your wife and your brother as they're on the pyre.
But even
then-
within the dream, Joe's not happy. He's like, this is bad. This is really bad.
But before you can get too into it, there's a hand shaking you all awake.
Mm.
And as you open your eyes, you look up, starting with you, Joe. You look at a mask with a finger to keep you silent and a wave. As Lena wakes each of you, and through the door frame, through the cracks in it, you can see a bright, vibrant teal glow. She raises a hand again to each of you and waves you close. Do you go over to take a look?
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
I do, but I'm not happy about it.
Alrighty.
That
Lena
seems
will.
like that's Joe's state of being this entire time.
It's true. This
I'll
is just.
do it. I'm not happy about it though.
Yeah. So Lena will slowly lift the curtain of the window. And as you gaze out, you realize the sounds that for some reason just didn't register in your mind of hooves hitting the ground and the swaying of a horse's mane and sharp breaths. And there is a horse that is black as night, but it's blowing out blue flames from its nostrils, breathing out in its glowing blue and riding upon it, gazing out, but not gazing out, you realize, as the headless horseman, the Dullahan, marches on. But there is no head in his hands. There's no head at all. Just an empty neck that glows with a bright blue aura that weeps out of it and lifts into the air. As it looks around, and you can see in its hand its whip made of skeletal bone, as it seems to be patrolling around. You think it's looking for something, but how could it look? It has no eyes. The horse moves it through the town as its body shifts from side to side, and slowly, leaving burn hooves, tracks in its wake, it leaves the village. And the curtain is shut.
What was that?
That's our friend. He can't find his head.
Have you got his head?
No.
Do you know where his head is?
No.
I would like to make a. Excuse me, cat. I would like to make a religion check for superstition.
Sure.
See a likely spot for it. I got a -1. This is going to be so good. Oh, so good. That's a 1. Not
Oh.
natural. I rolled a 2 on the die.
You don't know the name of this creature. You don't know where it's come from. You can't even think of a name for it. But it looked kind of cool to you, actually. It looked kind of like what you would think of, like, ooh, maybe that's a Grim Reaper of some sort. Maybe that's, he's coming along to sweep away some souls and just go on his merry way.
Interesting.
Katasha's going to turn towards Lena. Why can't we interact with him? He's obviously just like a good, like he's just doing his job. Why can't we like say hi to him?
So, you saw that whip in his hand, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a friendly item right there. I, yeah, I've seen what it did to some of the animals that went near it. I think it's getting spooked because it can't find its head. And I think it's angry. And it does not want to be here because this is not his home. That thing belongs in the Fey realm. They're only supposed to be here. I don't know. I don't know what that thing does here, but it doesn't belong here right now, and it does not want to be here. I don't want it here either. That's where we're at. But that's why we can't go out at night. That's when he walks, and he looks, and every time I see something cross its path, it either crumples to dust, or it hits it with the whip, and they don't make it out the other side of the whip.
With any luck, I can avoid it entirely by finding the source of whatever this is after we've got your flowers and then putting a stop to it some way or another.
Yeah, that's our hope. And if he doesn't go away then, that's okay. I'm just gonna get everybody out of here and he can have this little village all to himself. He can find his head somewhere if it's even here. It could very well still be in the Fey realm. Who knows?
And just to ask, perhaps maybe a final question before we go back to bed. I take it most people are too sick to move. No one's down for a 20-mile walk to get into somewhere that's got safe air.
I can't get them out of here. The infection took them too quickly for me to even know to get them out of here. By the time I realized that it wasn't something that I could cure them from, they couldn't move.
Oh.
So I needed more bodies.
Right.
On that note, we all need some sleep to be able to get through tomorrow. Well, let's all have a good night with our lovely friend patrolling. Lena will wave you off and lay down on her bedroll.
Nice bonus thing to add into the dreams.
It's fine. You all go back to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes Katasha a little bit to get comfortable again.
Yeah. Roll me wisdom saves again.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
Yay!
Back to my old self.
Mako, it's not your usual dream. Mako, what you see is you see Quill. And Quill is standing there, and he's holding a maggoty, glowing head in his hands. A head that is screaming so loud it feels like it's deafening you. And at the same time, you can feel tendrils touching the back of your mind and whispers of voices that you feel like you should recognize, that you should know, but you can't pick out their words and you cannot pick out whose voice it is that you know around the screaming of the Dullahan's head.
Mm.
Joe, you also
Mhm.
have a very similar dream, but you see your wife holding this head. And you see a silhouette of what almost looks like a deer or an elk skull behind it, glowing and glowing and glowing. And the screams and the tendrils try to touch you, and you fade into black. Katasha, you're having a grand old dream about being back on the boat, sailing home to go visit, and you can think of those 3 kids that you sent off. Hopefully they're having a grand old time. No headless horsemen, no nothing like that. They're just off to go pick mushrooms.
Only the best mushrooms, where
Only the
Katasha
best.
told them.
She told them where to get the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And as day breaks above, you guys awaken.
Waking up in a mask is not nice either.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. Lena's already getting up and about, and you can see her rummaging through and pulling out several vials of glowing blue potions that she's taking back into the room. And if you glance in, you can see her slowly feeding bits and pieces of these potions to the different patients laying on the ground.
All right, let's get up, guys. Let's go help Lena. Let's find these flowers. Did she mark on the map where she'd expect us to find them?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, let's follow this thing and try and see if we can help some people at the very least.
Alright.
Isn't it a grand old time you all are having?
Joe reloads his gun in response to the statement.
What statement? What are you hearing, Joe?
Joe turns to look at the DM and stop this.
Joe turns and looks at a wall, and both of you get really concerned for a moment. Is it the fever? Is it taking him?
All right.
Okay.
Let's get going.
From here, I think we will actually go ahead and call it for tonight, right before you start heading out towards the lilies.